Welcome to the Pros Corner podcast, where you get to know a local pro on the go. Brought to you by the Salt Lake Real Estate Investors Association, providing tips and tricks so you can take your investing to new levels. Here's your host, Eric Patterson.
Yoshi Shiraki is a native of Utah and has lived around the world, including 18 years in New York City. He succeeded as a celebrity hairstylist, a product designer, a blogger, a children's book writer, and a real estate investor, and that's just to name a few. This dude is truly a Renaissance man. In his quest for financial independence, Yoshi started his real estate investing career back in 2001, fixing and flipping houses, wholesaling and buying rental properties. In addition to being a licensed real estate agent, he's also a national speaker on the topic of real estate and speaks on how to buy investments in other markets outside of the city that you live in. Yoshi, his wife, son, and 2 dogs now reside in Salt Lake City, as this allows them to enjoy their love for hiking, snowboarding, golf, the great outdoors, and to be able to do more of what they love. Without further ado, here is the interview. All right, we are here with Yoshi Shiraki. Hey Yoshi, how you doing today?
I am great. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got to tell you, I have never come across a more fascinating individual in person. And I'm serious about that. I mean, I hear about people on the news and on the internet, but to actually meet you and actually go, I just felt like it was a never-ending just rabbit hole of just experiences. You were almost, I thought about it going home. I thought about it once. We met up for lunch, and I thought about it. You were like the Forrest Gump that I know. Like you've had all of these experiences, and that's not a knock on you or anything. Just all these different varied experiences, and so I'm kind of curious. Was that by design? I mean, when you were younger, did you feel like I want to do all these different things? Have you always had that curious nature about you?
Yeah, I'll tell you what happened. I'll try and keep it short and sweet. It's a long story, but my dream in high school was to play football for the University of Utah.
Right.
My father, however, had other plans for me and took that dream away from me. And I remember the day that I realized football would never happen. It hurt so bad that I couldn't even try. I couldn't play. I couldn't even try out because my dad didn't want me to play football. I didn't even go to college. He sent me off to pursue a different career.
Right.
And I told myself, I will never, ever let myself not pursue something that I have any interest in whatsoever. And because of that one experience, everything I've ever wanted to do, I've just gone and done because I didn't like the feeling of how football was taken away from me as a high school kid, not going to the U.
Right.
So that day forward, everything that I thought, I think I want to pursue that, I just pursued it.
Okay. Interesting. It's amazing how something like that happens in your childhood can have ripple effects throughout your life, right?
Yes.
That's amazing. So talk to me a little bit about all the different experiences you've had. What do you feel like is the common thread, perhaps, that you've been able to glean from those experiences that you might have been able to apply to real estate, which is kind of what our audience wants to know about real estate. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so basically what my dad wanted me to pursue was to be a hairstylist. My dad owned a hair salon here in Holiday, Utah. So after I graduated from high school, instead of going to the University of Utah to play a manly contact sport, he sent me out to London, England to learn how to cut female women's hair.
Right.
So I went to hair school. And after hair school, I moved to New York City where I became a hairstylist to the rich and famous. And where I'm going with all this is when you work at the high-end industry of cutting hair of the wealthiest people in the world.
Right.
These are the wealthiest people in the world, and I'm literally cutting their hair. These salons that I worked at specialized in perfect customer service, perfect ability to communicate, perfect ability to understand your client, because every personality is different. And having done that for 18 years in New York City, Manhattan, working with the world's wealthiest individuals cutting their hair, I really was able to hone in people skills, customer service skills. So now when I meet with sellers, I can see all these different, if you think about it, I was doing 12 haircuts a day. So every day I was meeting 12 new personalities. So I've seen almost every personality after 20 years of cutting hair that's out there. And so when I sit down with the person who's looking to sell their house, I can read them very well based off of their personality and kind of start to assume what I need to ask them, what I need to offer them. So having been in that customer service industry at such a high level because of the salons I worked at constantly trained us to be sensitive to those individuals' needs. It's helped me as a real estate investor, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just amazing how you can take something like that, something that seems just completely unrelated to real estate, take out those key skill sets, those transferable skill sets, and apply it successfully to real estate investing. And that is, in your case, communication, customer service, all which are hugely important in this realm. So with that said, what type of real estate investing do you do? Do you have a particular flavor that you like to choose from, that you like to do?
I do. So real estate to me is like ice cream. I love ice cream. I'll never say no to ice cream, right? And if I walk into Baskin Robbins and they were to hand me a free cone, I'd eat it happily. However, out of all those 31 flavors, if they ask me which one do I prefer, it's the mint chocolate chip. That's my favorite flavor. So I love real estate and I've tasted many flavors, but my favorite flavor in real estate is fixing and flipping, taking that ugly house and making it beautiful. That's the thing that excites me the most.
Gotcha. Talk to me a little bit about your story, not your story, but the very first fix and flip that you did. I mean, was it all peaches and cream, going back to the ice cream analogy there? Or was it, did you have some trouble along the way? I mean, what lessons did you learn from that first fix and flip?
Oh man, the first lesson I learned by the time the transaction was done is I hated going to Home Depot. I went there way too many times.
Right.
Multiple times in a day. The very first flip I ever did was actually in upstate New York because I was still living in New York City. And, I just jumped on the internet, thank goodness for the internet, and started finding different contractors, carpet guy, hardwood floor guy, plumber, electrician. And because of the skill set that I had from cutting hair, I was able to manage the team pretty well. So that wasn't I didn't run into much problems managing people. I could almost read subcontractors that came and gave me a bid that weren't going to be good, so I just wouldn't hire them. I recognized those personalities. And so basically I picked all the right contractors, which I haven't always done. But I was lucky enough on my first flip to pick all the right contractors, so all that work flowed very easily. But what I should have done better was managing the gentleman to pick up the materials for me at Home Depot. I thought I should go and look at and touch the light fixture myself or the tile myself. I don't know why I didn't just jump online and go to homedepot.com and say, go buy this. I always went and bought the stuff, which just was... Oh man, like I said, by the end of it, I hated going to Home Depot. I'd gone there so many times. But other than that, thankfully, the first one was good. They all haven't been good, but the first one was good. So the first one was positive.
And so what do you find to be your best route for avoiding those costly mistakes? Or are you just a student of hard knocks? I mean, is it a particular book or set of books, coaching, mentoring, real estate? Surrounding yourself with the right people. What is it that helps you to avoid some of the pitfalls?
Yeah, great question. I think the one that helps me the most is the last one you said, surrounding myself with the right people. Okay. Back then I didn't know anybody to ask, so I just figured it all out. Today I know a lot of people who are further down the road than me. So whenever I come across something I'm not sure what to do, I have a lot of resources of people I can ask.
Excellent. So again, that involves your strength there, which is people, customer service and communication. So that's great. Where do you see yourself? What's ahead for you and your family next 5-10 years?
Ironically, it's funny you asked that, Eric. I don't think we chatted about this at lunch. So during the 19 years that I lived in New York City, I had always aspired. I wanted to be either a professional boxer. I wanted to be Oscar De La Hoya.
Okay.
I wanted to either be in the NFL, which meant I had to go play for the U first, but that didn't. Or I wanted to be an actor, an entertainer.
Right.
And so for 19 years, I was an aspiring actor in New York City as well as a hairstylist. And when I moved away from New York, I kind of thought, well, just like football's done, so is being an actor. Because you got to live in New York City or LA if you're going to ever become Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise, right?
Right, of course.
You're not working as an actor in Salt Lake City and being Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise. So I kind of just figured to me that it was over. And the reason I bring those two up is if you ask any kid who wants to be in the NBA, who do you want to be like? They don't ever name the guy who sits the bench. They name the LeBron James, the Michael Jordan, the Kobe Bryant. So when I thought that I wanted to be an actor, I wanted to be the Brad Pitts, the Tom Cruises, the Johnny Depps, the Al Pacinos, right? You don't think I want to be the guy who kind of nobody knows, but they see once in a while that sits the bench in the acting industry.
Right.
I always aspire to be the biggest. And what I realized as of this year, actually, it was the end of 2016, the beginning of 2017. So within the last year, what I realized is my passion wasn't to be Brad Pitt. It wasn't to be Tom Cruise. It was the art of entertaining that I fell in love with. You know, some people, they love to cliff dive. They stand at the edge of the cliff, they jump into the water, that gives them an adrenaline rush. Some people love to skydive. Jumping out of that plane gives them adrenaline rush. Standing in front of a camera, having someone say action, for me, gives me that adrenaline rush. So where I'm going with all this is, as of this year, I've actually, I don't know, do you know who Craig Bolerjack is?
No, I haven't heard of him.
He's the voice of the Utah Jazz. He commentates all the games. So if you ever watch a Jazz game, it's his voice.
Okay.
So, I am lucky enough to know Craig Bolerjack, and he's now mentoring me how to make a personality.
Wow. Wow.
So 5 years from now, my goal is to be regularly working in front of a camera, feeling that adrenaline rush every day.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Man, that's a lot. That's 5 years from now, you might be in front of a camera, and then 5 years from there, who knows, you know?
Right.
So who knows? But you definitely have a presence about you. I will give you that. And you're definitely engaging. So you've got what it takes. I mean, so I'm sure you'll succeed. As we tie things up here, any words of advice or encouragement for our members who we're talking to here, who might be, scared to take the next step in their real estate investing?
Yeah. The biggest tip that I can give anybody, and it's just a small tip that just people go, why didn't I think of that earlier? So I was fortunate enough to have my dad share this with me when I was a young little kid. And I never realized the power until I became an adult, how powerful that little tip was. It was just something he trained me to do, and it's something I'm going to train my 2-year-old son as he grows bigger to do as well. If you want something from someone, you can never ask them for it first, because they may not say yes unless you already have a good relationship. But let's assume that you're meeting someone for the first time. If you want something from someone, you always have to give them something first. Because if you give somebody something first, the human nature is a nature of reciprocation. They feel like now they want to reciprocate the favor and give you something back. And so let's just say you're at work, you're super busy, it's super inconvenient for you to leave work right now, but you drop your phone and it breaks. And I happen to have bought just a brand new iPhone 8. And I said, Eric, dude, I got a couple of these. Here, take this one for free. And you're like, what? I don't want your iPhone. No, I'll go after work and get one. I'm like, after work, Apple will be closed. Take this iPhone right now. And you take it and you program it, and now it's in your hands and you're playing with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, I am so sorry. I'm supposed to be at the airport in an hour. Is there any way you could take me? It would be so hard for you to say no. So hard, even if you're busy at work, right?
Right.
If you give somebody something first of value, and then you ask for something back of value, you will usually always get it. So when I tell people you have to go find a mentor, don't go ask a mentor to be their mentor. First, go ask a mentor what you can do for them of value.
Right.
And then once you've given them that value, then you can ask for whatever it is that you're hoping for them to reciprocate. And most of the time, they'll say yes. And my dad taught me that as a little kid, which came in very valuable, because anytime I wanted mentorship from somebody, I never asked for mentorship anytime soon in the relationship. It was always a give, give, give.
Sure.
And once I felt like we had a comfortable relationship, then I could ask.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I think that could have been summed up as the law of reciprocity.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. No, that is huge. I definitely have used that, and it's just doing something for others first, and hopefully not expecting, but just no expectations, but just know that it'll come back in some way, shape, or form. So absolutely. Well, Yoshi, anything else you'd like to add as we type things up here?
I just look forward to seeing everybody who's going to show up for the Pros Corner. I'd love to meet you guys, each and every one of you who comes. I'd love to trade contact information. I love helping people because I didn't get where I am by figuring it out. I got where I am because people helped me.
Right.
So I love giving back. So if you're looking for some help, you're new to this, mentors are who you need, and these Pro Corners, these mentors who are volunteering their time, it's a great way to start an introduction and a relationship. You never know where our relationship goes after that night.
Absolutely. Yoshi, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you for sharing everything that you shared. Pros Corner folks, be there before the meeting around 6:10, and Yoshi will be talking about some great knowledge. I want to say it's Q&A for the most part, but you might be talking about some fix and flip deals, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna share more on how to find the deals.
Find the deal. That's right. Find the deals. Cool. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this episode of the Pros Corner. We look forward to seeing you in October's monthly meeting. To your prosperity. Thank you.
Awesome, buddy. Thanks so much.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right. Stop this.